Welcome to Mainland Television Nelson Tasman Regional News Weekly Roundup. I'm Graham O'Brien, and some of the stories in today's news: bards and minstrels are encouraged, Labour leader visits smaller regions, Project Janzoon wins awards for work in Able Tasman, and more. Labour's newest party leader, Andrew Little, is on a mission to get around many of New Zealand's smaller regions to find out how they tick and what people in the regions are wanting to see changed. In Nelson last week, Chrissy Small caught up with Andrew at Nelson's Honest Lawyer to talk about his leadership and how his current mission is going.
I'm here with the Leader of the Opposition, Andrew Little. What brings you to Nelson?
Well, one of my commitments when I became leader was to spend the first year getting out and about across as much of New Zealand as I could, and that meant getting to as many provincial centres and towns around about the place that I can. So this week it's Nelson's turn, so I'm here I'm meeting with party members obviously, and then I've got a day of visits to various places and businesses and organisations just to catch up and see what the issues are, listen to people and hear what they have to say and help us inform what we need to do, the kind of issues that we need to pick up as a political party.
Right. Okay, now, the polls are sometimes they're quite depressing. At this stage, it's they're saying that you've dropped 2% as preferred leader. What do you think about that?
Well, it depends what poll you look at. I mean, one poll has me going up, another one had me going down. Pretty much, and they're all within the margin of error. So you don't live your life driven by polls necessarily. I'm very pleased with where things are at. Certainly, since I became leader, we've had a big lift in the polls. We're in the sort of early 30s, which is where, as a party, I expected, or at least wanted us to be by this time. We always predicted that it'll take a little longer for others. A lot of other people who are now listening to us, now seeing that we're there, but want to see that we are. We're really serious about making the change, listening to people and making ourselves viable for 2017. So I'm not at all concerned about it. I'm very optimistic. I'm very pleased with where we're at. I'm very pleased with the feedback that we're getting, very pleased with the work that the caucus, for example, is doing. Everybody's doing amazing stuff, focused on the issues, and it's all going well. So it was never going to change overnight. We always knew we had a big job of work to do. It's happening and things are progressing well.
So Andrew, how is it going with the feedback from the smaller regions as you're going around the country?
It's been good. I think the overwhelming message I'm getting is just how neglected a lot of the people in the regions are feeling. And you look at the most recent budget, there's absolutely nothing in that for regional New Zealand. A lot more money going particularly into Auckland and into other metropolitan centres, but nothing for the regions. And I think, particularly now with issues like the lower dairy payout, that's going to affect the regions a lot more than it will the big cities. People are going to start to feel that, and I think the message we've been saying is actually it's time for the government to wake up and realise that the regions need a bit of support too. They've had a lot of funding for roading projects taken out of the regions and put into Auckland. Government departments have cut their regional workforces and centralised things back to Wellington. These are all things that you take those sorts of things out of the regions and they really feel it. So we have a view which is that the government does have a role, a responsibility, and to work with local communities and local authorities to make sure that we're sustaining and supporting the regions, attracting people there, making them good places to live, making sure the infrastructure is in place. So what people can expect to see from us is a greater emphasis on those things that are going to attract people to the regions, make provincial cities and towns a place to invest, to do business, to work and to live. And we want to see more of that.
Right, so making them more viable.
Yeah, I think, the other thing too about, you look at the rapid growth in the size of Auckland, part of that is our immigration policy, sort of, when people get to the border and they stay in Auckland, we'd like to see an immigration policy used to attract people to other parts of New Zealand too. Those coming in under the investor category, coming here to invest their wealth, well, we'd like to see that put in other parts of New Zealand too and sustain local economy. So it's just about being a bit more creative about what we've got.
Okay, now we've got situations in Nelson, where we have homeless. That must be, if it's in Nelson, I mean, it's just about everywhere. What can Labor do to help those sorts of people that have kind of dropped out of the society's eye, if you like, and surviving?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is a real problem in a lot of places, and for some, in some cases it's to do with just poverty. People cannot afford to live, and they are out on the streets. For some, it's mental health issues, and I think I'm getting an increasing amount of correspondence from people, from families in particular, who are concerned about just the lack of support and help that family members who've got mental health issues are getting, and many of them are winding up on the streets too. So I think there's a range of ways we need to deal with the problem of homelessness. But the truth is, it is real. It's happening in New Zealand. 20 years ago, if you'd said, listen, homelessness was going to be a real issue in New Zealand, you'd have been laughed at. But it is real now. And it's just part of that sort of breakdown in social support and social services that's happened under this government that we need to turn around.
This week was Men's Health Week, which is designed to encourage reluctant New Zealand men to proactively take charge and improve their health and well-being. During this Awareness Week, New Zealand men will be encouraged to complete an online survey to find out their men's health score, and then to challenge their mates to do the same and compete for the best score. Throughout June, men can visit their local Life or Unichem pharmacy in the Nelson region to get a free men's health pit stop check. I went along and caught up with Jason Wright from Price's Pharmacy to find out just what this reality check really entails. Jason, thanks very much for that. Those two simple tests, you can tell quite a lot just from those tests?
Yeah, thanks, Graham. Yeah, no, we can. So with your blood pressure, that was completely within the normal range. So we can tell that your heart health is pretty good, and tell that you keep fit and healthy. And also with the blood glucose reading, with it being in the normal range as well, we can say that you don't have any tendencies toward diabetes based on the tests that we've done today. So I wouldn't have any concerns going forward, and if I did, I would recommend that you go further and maybe follow up with a GP or something like that, just to get checked out, just to make sure.
Well, that's all good news. I know I was a bit worried when you put the rubber gloves on, but
yeah.
And also, are they the only tests you do? I mean, if someone came in with some different questions or different concerns, what would you do then?
It's a really good question. We get a lot of queries about a lot of different aspects of health. So usually we'd tailor a consultation towards the person and what they're wanting. So if somebody wants to know about their weight or their BMI, we'd measure their height and their weight, and we could do that side of things. If they're worried about their cardiovascular health, we can do their blood pressure check, we can do their weight, we can do their BMI, we can do their waist circumference. We're not going to push people into things. It's just basically what people want to know. We'll give them the information and give them something to take away so that they can think about it at least anyway.
Have you had many people take up the offer of the free health check over the Men's Health Week?
Yeah, so I was in Blenheim yesterday at a pharmacy, and over there we did have somebody come in just to check their blood pressure. Turned out to be all in the normal range, which is great, but it was somebody that probably is very shy of seeing their doctors usually. So it's a good opportunity for people who don't like to see their doctor that often, or if you haven't had your blood pressure done or your cardiovascular risk assessed for a while, get down to your pharmacy, have it done. It doesn't take long, and we usually are pretty easy to approach as well.
And it's always going to be a bloke that's going to do the tests?
We've got a lot of female pharmacists here, so if you feel more comfortable with a female, they're just as professional and just as good. So, and I'm probably better at it than I am anyway.
Jason, Men's Health Week's coming to an end soon, so people have to rush on down to get up on this offer?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, great. We'd love to see people in Men's Health Week, but we are going to extend our offer of doing the free checks until the end of this month anyway, for the whole month of June. So, yeah, no hurry.
Hey, great, thanks very much. That's a great offer. Thank you.
Thank you, no problem.
Here's some sobering facts for Kiwi men. Every 3 hours, a Kiwi bloke dies from a potentially preventable illness. If you are Māori, that rate doubles. 1 in 8 men experience serious depression at some time in their life. Testicular cancer kills more 18 to 39-year-old New Zealand men than any other disease. And about 150 young men are diagnosed with testicular cancer every year in New Zealand. But if it's diagnosed early, it has the highest rate of cure of all cancers. And remember, healthy eating is key to good health. A turnout of around 35 people for the Flag Consideration Project Roadshow last Thursday night at the Tahunanui Motor Camp Conference Centre saw that many Nelsonians, it seemed, decided to flag this flag event. However, the organisers claim the attendance was fantastic after their Christchurch meeting had a turnout of a mere 13 people. Many of those who attended the meeting in Nelson had agreed that a change of flag was required, although the sorts of changes were varied. Others at the meeting felt that the New Zealand flag should remain as it is, and that the process of assessing opinion for making any change was a waste of taxpayers' money. I spoke with Deputy Chair Kate DeGildy and flag historian and panel member Malcolm Holland about the Roadshow. Kate DeGildy, you're the Deputy Chair of the panel. How have you found the flag consideration project so far?
Enormously interesting. It's first of all, being on the panel is fascinating with 11 other interesting New Zealanders discussing how we would bring about this process of engagement with the public and then preparing for when the design submissions come in. So that was our initial series of meetings, and now we're in the public engagement process, and there's a roadshow going around the country, and each of us are spending time with different communities.
Sure. And have you been around to any schools or other places?
Yeah, just yesterday actually. I live in Wellington, so I was at Nio School working with Year 6 students. The schools, there's a very, very good school resource which mirrors the public engagement process. So many schools will be doing exactly the same thing as the public, as they'll be holding discussions in their classes about what New Zealand stands for, what they as New Zealanders stand for, and then thinking about how those concepts and values can be translated into symbols and colours on potential flags. And they are right up for it. They were incredible. If the grown-ups in the country can engage in discussion in that way, then I think we're onto something very interesting.
Malcolm, you're on the panel. It must be sort of exhilarating to be out there and listening to all this discussion. It was pretty good tonight. How do you feel about everything?
Oh, it was awesome. It's really good hearing the debate within the community, and, tonight was no exception. Really good turnout, I think, from Nelson in comparison with other places that we've been to. And, I was quite heartened by it. Some really good thinking there.
Yeah, and it's amazing to see that people that are actually on opposite ends of the thing are still agreeing that we do need some kind of change.
Yeah, I think that's the inevitability kind of argument, that at some stage, whether it be this year or 10 years or 50 years, eventually our flag will change. So I would like to think of it that if that is the case, then it's really important that we have an intergenerational debate so that those who go before us have some input in what the flag might be moving forward, if it is to change.
Hey, thanks very much.
No worries.
Cheers. We asked people on the street their thoughts on changing our New Zealand flag. What do you feel about changing the flag, spending $26 million? Do you want to change the flag?
No, I don't want to change the flag. It's great how it is. They should be spending their $26 million on other things.
They're trying to change it to a black and a grey, I think, but I think the blue symbolises our country pretty well. But
So you're in favour of a change?
no, I'm in favour of keeping the blue as it is. Yeah. Just me personally, though.
I think there's much better ways to spend our hard-earned taxes money, and I'm happy with the flag as the way it is. I like it as it is, so don't change it.
What do they think we are, just sitting around waiting to be told what to do,
I think the government's got it all wrong, completely wrong. First of all, I think they're inside out with their what they're doing. They're going the wrong way about it, and we really don't need a new flag. The flag's fine. What are we going to end up with? Something that half the people don't want anyhow.
Who decided it needed changing? And what's wrong with the flag as it is? And also, it's not going to stop at just changing the cost. I think it'll be ongoing, because the flag will appear on lots of things that we haven't thought about. So I don't really think you can justify spending that much money on changing the flag. I think it's good the way it is.
Spending that much money on changing the flag's pretty ridiculous, to be honest, and I think that they should keep it the same.
He hasn't even asked New Zealanders whether we want to change the flag. He's just barrelling ahead and saying, oh, we're going to change the flag, and he's not giving us any option to choose whether we want to or not. So, sounds like bloody dictation to me.
I think we've got to change it. It's got to be part of our transition into a more mature country. I think hanging on the back of what the UK does, and which is represented in our flag, hanging on the back of that and thinking like we're seeking advice from them about how we live our lives is just a thing of the past, and we've just got to move on from that because they're not relevant to what we do.
Environmental Trust Project Janzoon was honoured with winning both the Supreme Award and Philanthropy and Partnership category at the 2015 Green Ribbon Awards last week. This privately funded trust was named after Abel Janzoon Tasman. Project Janzoon's 30-year mission working with DOC, the Abel Tasman Birdsong Trust, the community and iwi to reduce predator numbers and weeds, restore ecosystems and reintroduce native birds, animals and plants back into the Abel Tasman National Park. Green Ribbon Supreme Awards winner Project Janzoon's Devon McLean this week was presenting to members of the Nelson Tramping Club the 30-year plan to improve the Abel Tasman and how they intend to repopulate the native birds. Mainland spoke to Devon after the presentation to discuss what winning this award means to the Trust.
I'm speaking here tonight with Devon McLean of Project Janzoon. Devon, is this the first year the Trust has won an award?
It is the first year. We haven't entered the Trust's work in the award process before, but we're very delighted to have been successful.
That's great. What does it mean for the Trust?
I think it's just fantastic to get that recognition at the national level of what we're doing, particularly in that category for us, the partnership and philanthropic partner area, because we're one of the leading projects there, and one of the things we're trying to do is create models that other philanthropists will follow.
Okay, and is the Trust happy with the progress that is being made in fulfilling its objectives?
I think we're making good progress. I mean, you take some 2 steps forward and 1 step back from time to time, but on balance, I think we're making good progress. We're starting to secure the park, and the exciting part now is we're starting to bring birds back into the park.
Oh, that's fantastic. That would be seeing the fruits of your labours and the birds and animals being restored. Is that right?
Absolutely, and I love it when neighbours to the park tell us that they're seeing a lot more birds around. That's a pretty good indication.
And hearing them.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. Tell us, how many people are employed by the Trust?
I haven't actually added them up. I've got 5 on my team. Most of them are working part-time, but the work on the ground is done on contract, mostly by the Department of Conservation, but also by other contractors. So we would have at any point in time probably 20 to 30 people working on the project.
Very good. It's been great to have you here at the Nelson Tramping Club speaking tonight. Where can people find out information about what you're doing elsewhere?
Best place to go to is our website, www.janzoon.org, but also there's a phone app which has got quite a lot of information. So if you search the app stores, either Android or Apple, for the Abel Tasman or for Project Janzoon, you'll find an app there, and it gives you a lot of information.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for your time tonight.
Habitat for Humanity has a new home and some big plans. Habitat Chairman Rob Silcock put down his tools for a few minutes to tell us what's going on. Rob, you've got a brand new building down here. You must be pretty excited with it.
Oh, well, yeah, it doesn't look brand new, but to us it's brand new, and it's pretty exciting because this is a first for us. We haven't tried anything like this before. We haven't stepped out on a limb before. And this time we've signed up for a 2-year lease with a right to renew for a further 2 years, so it's quite a big step.
It looks fantastic. And how about your funding? How are you going for funds?
Well, funding, this is really in order for us to get some funding, because we have struggled for funding over the years, and we've discovered that if we can fund ourselves, we've had really good support from a lot of the community trusts and various people around here who have helped us fund. I don't mean to imply that they haven't, but we, as you can appreciate, the cost of building a house is a lot of money, and funding doesn't go very far, and so we need a continual stream of money, and this business is being set up in order that we can hopefully get a lot of money and coming in year by year, continual. And that, I mean, by a lot, I don't mean huge amounts, but enough to supplement our building income and be able to carry on building.
Sure, and you're making those funds through people bringing stuff down so that you can sell it on. They're okay to bring it down now? Are you ready to go?
Drop-offs, we're really sort of only open for drop-offs on Saturday mornings between 10 and 12. So if anybody has anything, they can drop off down here on Saturday mornings. That would be appreciated. And we are doing collection 1 day a week, which people who phone up and leave a message who can't deliver, we will endeavour to collect your your goods, and we really value them, and we endeavour to pick them up on one day, usually a Thursday. But cut us a little bit of slack if nobody gets back to you straight away.
Your funds, they're going into building houses. You've got something like 20 odd houses on your book, is that right?
We have 12. We've just handed over 4 to their owners a couple of weeks ago, and so that cuts us back to 8. We've got 2 that we will be building towards the end of this year, which will bring us back up to 10 again. So it's a continual rollover.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Hey Rob, thanks very much for taking time out of your busy day of fixing it up, and thanks very much.
Thank you, and thank you, Nelson, for the support that we've already had, and we look forward to getting more support as we roll on. It's not a one-off. This is something that we intend to be here for a long time, and with the support of Nelsonians, we can make this into something really special. Thank you.
And finally, it's a celebration time at Nelson's Live Poets this month as minstrels and bards, poets and songwriters take to the floor. First time or seasoned bard, there's a place for everyone at the Songs and Poems Open Mic Night. I spoke to one of the monthly event organisers, Mark Raffles, to find out more about the long-running Nelson Live Poets. Mark, thanks for taking the time to talk to us on this chilly morning.
Entirely a pleasure.
Can you tell us a little bit about your Poet Society and the meetings at the Yurt that you have?
Oh, well, yeah, we started them back in about 1993 at the then Faces Cafe Bar on Hardy Street, and then a little later on I went over to the Golden Bay and helped Joe Bell set it up over there, so we're now running 2 groups. And we hope to keep going for another 40 years, 20 years.
Sounds great. And what people have you had through that you can tell us?
Well, last month we had Christchurch poet Bernadette Hall through. She was our guest. We try to have a guest every month. We've had Harry Ricketts from Wellington, Poet Laureate Vincent O'Sutherland, Fiona Farrell, Ali Jacks, a slam poet, Carrie Rudinsky from the US, and Ken Arkin. They're both slam poets. Local poets, Rachel Bush, Cliff Fell, Jessica LeBar, Eva Brown, Rose Michelle Vondrega, everybody.
That's great, and it's great that you can remember them all just off the top of your head. And is it for anybody can put their name down and have a go?
Yeah, anybody can just turn up on the night with a poem in your pocket, put your name down on the board, and tell us what you've got to say. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And is it just for poetry, or you have other entertainment?
Because it's open mic. Like, we're trying to encourage singer-songwriters to come along, and so every so often we'll have an event like we've got coming up this month, where we don't have a guest. So it's open mic all night. We encourage singers and songwriters and poets. We did this about two or 3 months back, and we had the brass funk band from the local colleges, coordinated at Waimea College. They all came down, took up the whole stage. Great night. We got bush poets, we got country singers, we got folk singers, and all sorts.
Sounds like lots of fun. And it's the last Monday of every month, I believe?
Well, it's close to the end of the month. I think in Golden Bay at the Muscle Inn we do it on the Thursday, and then so it's either the 4th Thursday or the last Thursday, and then the 4th Monday or the last Monday over here in Nelson. So we try and run the programs so we can one program that spreads over 2 venues.
And I know the Yurt is pretty helpful towards the community. Is it a huge cost to get into to see all these great people?
Yeah, you got to buy a beer. Oh, and if you don't drink beer, you can buy a coffee or a soft drink or a wine or something like that. So yeah, and then so along with your drink that you buy at the bar, then you put a koha into the jar, and that sort of keeps us going. And Arts Council Nelson helps us, and Creative Communities helps us, and Grants from Rates from the Tasman District, they help us as well. So it keeps the show rolling, it keeps the words alive, keeps the poets sort of honing their craft, because after all, without poets, society dies. I believe that, and you got to keep the voice rolling along. So singers, songwriters, poets, it's all about keeping things on track and being the conscience and the soul of the nation or the community, whichever way you look at it.
After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.
Welcome me hearties to Smugglers Pub and Cafe, famous for hearty meals, craft ales and a friendly service way. Sensational seasonal menus with meals all day and evening too, or sail in for a snack with special menus for young smugglers and you. Settle in for a jolly old time, relax and enjoy our award-winning dining and a lovely fine wine. Decked out in an old worldly way, we're open 7 days. Book or come on in to 8 Muritai Street, not far from a beach walk or swim. Phone 546408.
Hi, I'm Sharon O'Neill and I'm back home and you're watching Mainland Television.
Hi, my name's Ian Mortimer. Mortimer Auto Upholstery is your one-stop shop for all your upholstery needs. We do car and boat interiors, boat canopies, ute tonneau covers, canvas and PVC fabrication. Call in and see us in Oxford Mews, 72 Oxford Street, Richmond.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
We're the team at JCar, right here in Nelson, 120 Hardy Street. Our shop is full of electronic items,
including security alarm systems, electronic components,
solar and power,
electronics toys,
sound systems, cables, and much, much more. JCar.
120 Hardy Street, Nelson.
Are you tired of endless reality shows? Would you prefer to watch captivating documentaries?
They have swallowed cars.
Exciting movies.
Go ahead, load up and shoot.
Music for the soul.
And if you think I'd ate your fish and chips, I did, you're mistaken.
Programming from around the world. Places to visit. Local news and views.
I'm Graham O'Brien and today's bulletin. Do you want to change the flag?
No, I don't want to change the flag.
Stay tuned to Mainland TV, your local station.
Tasman District Creative Communities Local Arts Funding Schemes. Next closing date for applications is the 10th of July 2015. Creative Communities is a local arts funding scheme to support community arts and cultural activity. Creative New Zealand fully fund the grants and Tasman District Council administer them locally. For more details, please contact the Tasman District Council. Nelson City Council have announced that they are now accepting enrolments for the 2015 Nelson Arts Festival Mask Parade. The easiest way is to fill in the form online. The theme for this year's parade is the World of Books, and the parade date is Friday the 16th of October. On behalf of the team here at Mainland Television News, thank you for joining us, and we'll bring you the latest news and events from around the region again tomorrow.
supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
I'm Francis from Nelson Auto Glass. We repair all auto glass, stone chips, windscreen replacements, scratch removal.
If you have an auto glass issue, our team will sort it.
Nelson Auto Glass Specialists, 84 Vanguard Street, Nelson.